Hey, everybody. Welcome back if you're returning. Welcome if you're new here. Thank you so much for joining me today. Going to use the wisdom of the oracle again today. Get our topic. And we have, hold on, that's a repeat. Check, try again. Regeneration. All right. We've talked a lot here recently about taking time, reflecting, focusing on you, and regeneration is really, I mean, when you look at nature, nature takes time to regenerate. We are nature, part of it. We are absolutely connected to the earth and the environment and the things around us. And if everything around us has to take time to regenerate, we do too. And not just regenerate, but rebirth. And that's really how I'm going to approach this because we can only stay in one cycle for so long. And then we have to pause and regenerate. One of the things that's very common in our society, in our, you know, our programming is the drive to go and produce. And it's really easy to end up in a cycle where we are in fight or flight. We are just running on adrenaline and stimulus and caffeine. Just like crackheads running through the day, trying to get this done and get this done and get that done and what's coming next and because we have pushed so hard and we've run out of what we need to respond, to manage, and we are just reacting. This needs done. Oh my gosh, that's on fire. Oh, I got to take care of that. And the phone's ringing and the baby's crying and the car needs washed and our body operates off of the chemical factory in our brain. And all of that stimulus, overstimulation, creates high levels of stress hormones, cortisol. All of those things break down our body over time. So not only are we crazy in our head, but our body is wearing down at the same time. And it messes up our cellular division. It messes up all kinds of things to where when you think about the idea, consider that, and I don't know how accurate this is. I didn't do the research, but like every 7 years, we regenerate our entire body. We have to look at what is it being made of? What is behind that regeneration? Because if we're living in fight or flight, we're regenerating disaster because we've messed up our body at a cellular level because of the crackhead chemical factory going on in our brain because we didn't take time to slow down. We didn't take time to nourish ourselves properly. We didn't get enough sleep. We didn't eat the right foods. We didn't we weren't kind to ourselves. And when I say be kind to future you, it's on so many levels because everything that we do today affects our future reality. So if today me makes poor choices, tomorrow me pays for that. And that's why in the present moment, we have to keep in the back of our mind whether or not we're being kind to future us. So one of the ways that we can do that is by making sure that present us is feeding our body well, is saying no to the constant demands. Obviously, we can't say no to all of them, but within balance, within reason, you're one person. You can only do so much. And beyond that, you're just setting yourself up for failure because tomorrow you're going to be exhausted. And I like to look at it as energetic debt. Think about credit card debt because if I borrow money that I don't have, and then I have to pay back more money because I borrowed it, it's the same thing with energy. If I borrow energy that I don't have from tomorrow and I use it today, tomorrow it takes that much more energy to get through the day. We only have enough energy for today. And that's the same with your budget. If you budget your energy like you budget your money, I hope you budget your money well. Typically, we tend to overdraw our energetic budget, and not even on purpose, but just because we believe that it has to be done. It has to be done. It has to be handled. It has to happen now. Well, that's just like when we think that we have to have that thing now. Do you really have to have it now? If it's food, utilities, housing, yeah, okay. That's an urgent thing. That's a need, not a want. But the same as at the end of the day, energetically, do you need to go binge watch a movie until 2 a.m.? Because you're going to pay for that. You've energetically overdrawn your budget for the next day, and you're going to have to pay it back with interest because you're going to have to dredge that energy from somewhere, and you're going to run a deficit. You're going to be overdrawn, and there's fees for that too. I like to look at energy like finances because it it takes something that's kind of gray and it makes it black and white because we all deal with finances. That's a part of our 3D everyday life is managing money, and some better than others. But if you've done worse in the past, you know how that can play out. You end up bankrupt. You have nowhere else to draw from. And that's what I'm talking about with the energy. There is only so much that we can produce. And if we're not regenerating and giving ourselves the proper nutrients that we need to regenerate, we're going to end up bankrupt. And your body will absolutely let you know when you are overdrawn. And if you don't listen, it's going to put you into collections and finally bankruptcy because you're going to pay for it physically, mentally, emotionally. And in turn, that will in fact affect your 3D finances because when you cannot muster the energy to go to work, that's going to hit you pretty quick. Uh, so, when we talk about regeneration and being kind to future you, be mindful about your boundaries around your time. Don't give away more of your resources than you can before it affects you. And again, this goes against everything that we've been rewarded for. Boy, she can just keep going and keep going. She gets so much done. Oh, star employee, star athlete, star this, star that, mom of the year because she's the class mom and goes on all the field trips and runs the PTO and coaches the soccer team and that woman is probably burnt to a nub. And what happens when we do that is we become unable to give at all, even to ourselves. If you've ever reached a point where self care feels like a chore, like, you know, you really could use some lotion, but the thought of taking the time to put it on is exhausting, you're damn near bankrupt. You need to take a step back, create some space, even if you have to go on strike and just stop doing what you're doing. Because if you've ever had to come back from financial disaster, it takes time. You need time to replenish. You need time to rest, to regenerate. The best way to handle it, and most of us learn this the hard way. We learn everything the hard way. We are programmed to learn the hard way. Somebody can tell us, and the nice thing about that is it plants a seed. When somebody tells you something, and it's this big chunk of wisdom, and you're like, yeah, whatever. It's okay. It's okay. We all do it. It's, like I said, it's what we do. It sticks. It sticks back there. And then when you do the dumb thing that they told you not to do, that seed has sprouted. And you're like, oh, That's what they were talking about. I get it now. And then we learn not to do that again. Sometimes we do it in a slightly different way, but we catch it faster. So don't beat yourself up because usually we will cycle through it where we think, well, I'm doing better because I'm eating better. And then we run ourselves into the ground and we're like, okay, that wasn't enough. Nah, everything's balance. Everything's balance. If you mostly feed your body well and you mostly get enough rest, you'll forgive. Your body can be forgiving here and there. It's when we consistently push ourselves too hard, consistently give too much, consistently go without enough sleep, trying to fit all the things in that we think we have to do. Cut yourself some slack. Prioritize. Do you really need to do all that stuff? Can you go for a few days and just let things go? Because that's more of your programming, your belief system. That if you really want to find out how OCD you are, try letting stuff go for a few days. It's healing. It's healing. But make sure if you do that, that at the end of those few days, you have rested, you have fed yourself, you have taken care of yourself, focused on self care, cut out time for you, sat in your bubble, listening to relaxing music, whatever it is that you need to replenish yourself, regenerate yourself, so that at the end of those few days, you have the energy to get your shit back together. Because we still need that foundation to operate from where we do have order and structure and routine amidst the chaos. But keep in mind, we are no different than nature. We have seasons, we have cycles. We have to honor those. We are designed to where, if need be, we can push through things, but we weren't meant to use that daily. It's a survival mechanism under extreme circumstances. And so many times, so many of us have created extreme circumstances as our everyday lives. And it's just a matter of our own choices and making better choices, kinder choices for ourselves. Don't overcommit. That's the number one. We get so much approval and outside recognition when we are just crackheads and stupid busy. And I don't know about y'all, but I don't want to live like that. And as a person who, prior to healing, sought approval from outside, I ran myself stupid and my body paid for it. And I try to tell young people, I'm like, look, approve of yourself as who you are as a human being. The doing is icing on the cake. And if you go above and beyond, that's the cherry on top of the icing on top of the cake. But you're the cake. You're the value right there. The rest is decoration and extra, right? So you don't have to have all the ornate decorations to be okay. Your value is intrinsic, it's internal, and it's your soul. And the fact that your soul exists is where your value comes from. Everything beyond that is extra. It's like lipstick. We don't always wear lipstick. We don't always have to be extra. Quit trying to be so extra. Give yourself the approval you need and accept and honor the fact that there are going to be times where you have to regenerate. You can't be Superwoman. You can't be Superman. That's not a 24/7 thing. That's reserved for special occasions when there aren't a lot of other options and just long enough to get through to where you can get more help in, call in backup, delegate, not a long term thing. Honor your body, take good care of you, be kind to future you by making good choices to honor yourself in the present moment. Allow yourself the time and space to regenerate. Okay? It'll make tomorrow much better. Do not go into energetic debt because that shit is hard to pay back. And I hope you have a fabulous day. Thank you so much for joining me, and I will talk to you soon.